I don't know if you guys can actually hear me that well or not over the mower, but my wife is mowing the lawn, so that way I can do race car things. You guys should get yourself a good wife like that. So my camera stopped filming whenever I was doing the last video, so I wasn't able to show the rest of the process. Anyways, I was able to get the downpipe off and the manifolds off and the turbos. There they sat. Really annoying, honestly. What are you doing? That's not a marshmallow. Got my daughter with me today, guys. Can you say hi? Hi. Hi. She's already dirty because everything's greasy. Let's move this. Anyways, let's move this far away. Right now, we're going to be pulling the power steering pump because the thing literally went out on me right before I was going to do this build. And I just don't feel like playing with no power steering. So that's the process that we're going to do right now. I'm just going to yank that thing off real quick and throw the new one on. So anytime anybody wants to do any kind of turbo builds, a multi-layer steel gasket for the exhaust side, as well as a head gasket, those are the best ways to go. A lot of times I will reuse these, but seeing as I don't have a set for the Rb26, I've got to buy new ones. So these are brand new Cometic. I will be running a -4 feed to the turbo, so you can just buy one of these guys online. It is a, I believe, M10 by 1.5 by -4. So this is the only feed in the entire block here for the oil to the turbos. So best thing to do is use a crush washer on there. We're gonna slide this guy on. So it looks like I might have to modify my mount because the bottom of the pipe actually hits it. So I might have to cut a groove in it so the pipe will sit. Lovely. So it looks like I'm probably gonna have to grind it out here, which is kind of scary because this mount's not very big, but it is what it is. I'm gonna have to grind out a bit of a dent here, just enough to get the bottom of the manifold to lay flush. Otherwise, I'm shit out of luck. So yeah, there you have it. Guess we'll do that. So before we start grinding, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna stick something in this and something in this, because those are the oil returns for the turbos. I'm gonna actually pack them full of automotive rag, so that way when I grind on that mount, nothing will get inside of it. So that's the last thing you want, is to purposely get metal inside of your engine. I apologize for not showing my face very often in this. I'm utilizing my gimbal as much as I possibly can at the moment. So currently I've removed the turbo from this so that way I can actually see where it's touching. Alright. Got my good old-fashioned Japanese paint marker right here. I'm so lost. How does this work? Oh, there we go. I must be the biggest noob ever. Oh. That's good. Alright, don't buy Chinese paint markers. They don't work very well. Stay tuned for this broadcast. Final time, my final grinding moment. Alright, so just a hair more grinding and we'll be good to go. Right after I clean up all of this metal shavings. This was a terrible idea. Don't follow my ideas, whatever you do. Okay, so I think that one seems to work out. We are finally there, I presume. So we're gonna go ahead and start assembling it. Manifold is all bolted down now. Next will be the turbo. A lot of times when you run any kind of turbo, there is one spot on this whole housing that the bolt will not just go right in. So I had to modify, I had to grind this just a little bit so that way this bolt would go in without hitting, because before you couldn't even get the bolt in, and a lot of times in the past I've had to run studs and I didn't really feel like doing that. So now I've got 4 correct size bolts. And anyways, that's not really going to affect anything, seeing how this is like 3/4 inch thick steel, or inch cast iron, whatever you want to call it. We're going to plug the coolant feeds in the block using a M14 by 1.5 plug, oil drain plug or whatever. I've got the plug put in for the coolant, because you know I'm so happy. The wind is so bad outside. That doesn't even make sense. Can I not just live my life without peanuts getting thrown everywhere? Okay, I got my generic oil return. It's just a basic O'Reilly's -10 size hydraulic line. We're gonna run it around, and I'll have my turbo tilted just a little bit so I don't have to run it against the piping. So next, I'm gonna bolt down the hot side, and then we're gonna put the turbo on. Oh, I dropped the bolt on my fender. The one thing you don't want to do when you're messing with any kind of turbo, you don't want to break this O-ring, because this holds the boost pressure within the housing. So whenever you are trying to turn the housing itself to set it where you want it in the engine bay, the best thing you should do is to remove it completely and then put it on after it's in the engine bay. Don't try to turn it, because you will rip this O-ring. Well, now if I can just, get a pipe that would, go from here to here, I don't exactly know what I'm going to do with that. So the next step is to put the cold side on, and as it sits is exactly the way I want it. And these you do not want to over tighten, because the housing is aluminum and you will pull the threads out. You 100% do not want to do that. There's nothing that you can do at that point. Alright, time to see what kind of sketchy stuff I can do. Now that's a hood dump. I would do that, but I kind of like my exhaust going out the bottom. have motivation again. Well guys, I would just like to say thank you for viewing this. It's obviously not finished, this is just part 2, but seeing how I was able to get a first start with so quickly, we'll just call that the end of the part 2 here. And I'm gonna end this video like I end regular videos. Thank you for over 400 subscribers. I know that doesn't seem like very much, but for someone who starts out small, like me, it is quite a bit, and I really appreciate it. If you guys are new here, hit the subscribe button, because I say this every single video, oh my god, I got some good shit coming.